I got my first ever beta read feedback. This is so exciting. I hate printers. I was like this close to tearing up. You know those 5 stages of grief? I feel like I'm going through that right now with my beta reads, just somehow in reverse. So, the beginning of a new writing vlog. I've actually achieved quite a few things since my last writing vlog, which was during NaNoWriMo in November of 2020. But I'm just gonna quickly go through some of the things that I've already done and then we'll just move along with the vlog. The first thing I've accomplished, and one that's quite a big thing and something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, is to create my own publishing company for publishing my books in the future. It's usually recommended to have a publishing company. It's not needed, however, to indie publish your books, but it does make things easier, and I'll tell you why in a second. But yes, I've finally done that. I applied to create my company here in Denmark and thankfully it was free. It is different depending on what kind of company you're creating and of course depending on each country's specifications. Basically just me in this company at the moment. And that's why it was free, because if you want a bigger company and start having employees, and of course if you actually start making a sizable income towards your company, then you have to start paying taxes, you have to have capital and things like that. But for now at least it was free because I'm not really making any money off of my books yet. The other reason why I finally decided to start this company is because to get ISBNs, at least again here in Denmark, you need a CVR, so that's the company number. So after I got the company number, then I applied to get ISBNs. And if you don't know what an ISBN is, it's basically the number on the back of the book. So something like this, that is basically the unique identifying number of that book. And you have to have one for each version or each edition of your book. So every paperback, every Kindle book, every hardcover book has to have its own ISBN, and then if you publish second edition or future editions of the same book, then again you need a new ISBN. And again, thankfully in Denmark it was free to get 10 ISBNs, and so I did that, and now I have 10 ISBNs that I can use when I start publishing my book, so that was awesome. The next thing that I've accomplished that I'm really proud of is I finally finished completely editing Hunting Vienna, my YA contemporary adventure novel. So for now I'm not touching it, and the next step is to find some beta readers for it. I started searching for beta readers. It's not easy, honestly, it's really not easy searching for beta readers and finding people you actually trust with your manuscript, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to find beta readers and I'll take it from there. Depending on their feedback, I'll try to figure out what editing I need for this book and then just move forward. But it's gonna be exciting to finally have people actually read this version, because I've had like critique partners for previous versions of this book, but it changed so much since then that I'm excited to see what they think of now and if I've improved some things that were issues in the previous drafts. And I'm still working on my fantasy draft that I worked on in NaNoWriMo of 2020, and I'm at 44,900 words as of today. And I'm definitely trying to finish this draft this month, because ideally, again, it should be around 50, maybe 60,000 words. We'll see how many words it takes to just get to the end of the story. That's gonna be exciting to finally finish that draft. And I'm generally very excited about what 2021 has to offer, especially of book-related things and what I can accomplish this year, because I have a lot of big plans. I just don't know how realistic they are, but I'm definitely gonna try my best to make them a reality this year. But I will let you know what they are a bit later and update you on my goals as we go on into the year 2021, which hopefully is gonna be better than 2020. So I started my beta reading process, which is super exciting. I've been meaning to get to this point for such a long time, and finally I have my manuscript where I want it, and I can actually have people reading it and giving me feedback, which is fantastic. So far I have found 3 beta readers, 2 on Reddit and 1 on Goodreads. I haven't posted on any of my personal social medias, I just kind of posted randomly in beta reading groups around the internet, and I would like 2 more beta readers. So I'm gonna try in a Facebook group and see if I can find those extra 2, and I think 5 is a good number, at least for now. And so I sent all 3 beta readers the first 5 chapters and a questionnaire, which I will show you in the next clip. I'll show you what kind of questions I asked, but this is something I'm still learning and trying to figure out what are the best questions to ask to get the best feedback possible. It's still kind of a learning thing for me, but I'm gonna show you what I have right now and what I've sent my betas. Okay, so this is a questionnaire that I started doing, and this is the one I actually already sent out. 18 questions for the beginning of the book. I think the beginning and the end are the most important, where I can ask the most questions, but actually in the questionnaires that I have for the middle of the book, they're a bit shorter because, of course, I don't want to repeat the same questions too much, but at the same time, I do repeat the questions. I want to make sure that some things remain constant, or if the same question changes in the middle of the book, I want to know why, so I want to keep track of that. And so some questions are the same throughout the chapters and some are not. But for the beginning, for example, I have, in general, what did you think of the beginning of the book? Did it keep you interested? Was the first chapter captivating enough to want to read more? That's obviously very important. I want to get an understanding of, is this beginning captivating enough for people to want to continue reading, and then some thoughts on the main character. I also want to know about if the reader could relate to the main character in any way, because ideally they should be able to relate in some way to the main character. Then a question about setting. I want to make sure that the reader is grounded. I want to make sure that the reader knows where the story is taking place and if there's enough description. And then of course I want to know what they thought about the secondary characters and the relationships between the characters. Then I have something related to the competition in my book, which is called The Hunt. And then some more general questions, if they ever felt like the story lagged or they became less excited about finding out what was going to happen next, if there were any parts that confused them, any particular scenes or lines that they really like. Here I really want to know if there was anything in particular that made them laugh, because I do try to make my story entertaining and fun and funny at times, and so I want to know if there was any point where the reader actually laughed aloud. That would be really nice to know. I want to know what parts were exciting or that should be elaborated on with more detail, or in the opposite way, which parts were boring and can be compressed or even deleted. Then I want to know if they noticed any discrepancies or inconsistencies. I want to know if the characters were believable, if there are things that they did that seemed uncharacteristic. Are there too many characters? Because I do tend to write quite big casts of characters, and that's always something I worry about, that maybe it's a bit overwhelming, so I really am curious what they will answer to this. Fingers crossed that it's okay, because I did delete actually some characters. Then of course I want to know if the dialogue is interesting and sounds natural, and then I want to know if there's enough conflict, tension and intrigue to keep them interested, if the writing fits the genre, and just this is like an open-ended question. If they have any other comments that didn't fit into any other question, then I want them to leave their thoughts there. So that's pretty much what I have, because I just want to get an idea of how a reader takes the story, what they think about the characters, what they think about the story. Does it keep them want to keep reading? Of course, that's important. And just in general, if there's anything that's weird or confusing, that's the sort of thing right now that I want to know. So big picture issues, character arcs, plot issues, clunky dialogue, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for right now. So I'm not looking for any, grammar mistakes and things like that. That'll be handled later. Another thing that I'm doing is working on the cover for the book. Now, you might have seen my unboxing of my proof. I want to redo that cover. I want to make it better in any case, and so I want to work on it. I have done some drawings. I can show you a couple of drawings I have done, and what I want to do is scan these, digitize them in Procreate on an iPad, and then try to get the styling a bit more artistic, because I think I could have done these better. I'll try it out, and I'll probably need to redraw them anyway. Maybe I'll just do that digitally, but yes, I'm working on the cover as well. Because I want, in this beta reading process, I want to not work on any story-related thing regarding Hunting Vienna, at least. The other big thing that I need to get done, aside from beta reads and edits, is the cover. So I need to get started on that and actually digitize it. I need to find a better font for the title, and I need to find a better color. I'm not in love with the color that it came out as in print, and so I need to experiment a little bit with that and find a new color. I have some more doodles here that I might or might not use, and I have this as well, which maybe I shouldn't show on YouTube because it's a little bit that's part of the book as well, actually, believe it or not. That is Venus of Willendorf, if you've heard of that before. If you haven't, you'll learn about it in my book, Hunting Vienna. Check it out when that will be out, eventually. I got my first ever beta read feedback. This is so exciting. So one of the betas that I sent the first 5 chapters to 2 days ago already sent my questionnaire back with the feedback, and I skimmed through the feedback. I didn't want to go into too much detail right now because first I just want to collect all the feedback, and then I'm gonna go through and actually, process it and figure out, okay, what are the actionable points that I can actually take to improve the story. But I just had a look because I also want to know if the beta was right for me and if they gave me the right kind of feedback that I was looking for. But it was amazing, and they really enjoyed reading the first 5 chapters, and they had a lot of great things to say. So I'm like, right now I'm a bit like over the moon because you never know what to expect with these things. You're giving complete strangers, access to read the book baby that you've been working on for the past 10 years, and it's just really cool. It's really cool when they like it, and yeah, I already sent them back the next batch of chapters, and so hopefully I'm gonna start getting some more feedback from all the other betas and, collecting everything and then eventually making the changes that they suggest. Oh, it's printing, if you can probably hear that. So of course, the printer f***ed up and it didn't print the first page. This printer, I swear to God. Just like the first page, mate. What are you doing? I hate printers. So after fighting with the printer, I finally managed to print my first beta feedback, and it printed a little bit weird, but I basically have 4 pages of feedback because that's the questionnaire that I showed you, and the beta filled in answers to my questions. But I'm gonna keep this, put it in a folder, and then of course collect all of the feedback and then go through it. But this is special because that's my first ever beta read feedback. Really, really cool. So yesterday I had 3 beta readers. Today I have 8, which is really fun. So I posted on a Facebook group called Beta Readers and Critique Partners, and that was the place that got me the most responses. Some of them only wanted to first see the first chapter and then decide if they want to beta read or not, so some of them might not stick around, which is why I kind of accepted everyone for now, and then we'll see if they actually stick around or if they don't want to continue, which is totally fine. But that's why I have more than I would like, because I'm expecting some of them to just not follow through or drop out or not want to continue. I recommend Facebook groups. If you want to find beta readers, I definitely had more success with Facebook than I did with Reddit or Goodreads. And so I also sent the extra people either the first chapter or the first 5 chapters, depending on what they said they wanted. And I'm waiting for responses. I haven't really gotten any more responses. I gave them about a week each, so I'm expecting to get some answers over the weekend. Fingers crossed that everything goes well and not too many drop out, and I can actually have a solid 5 or 6 people beta read the entire book, because that would be obviously a lot more helpful if they just drop out in the middle and I don't hear from them ever again. Good morning. So I'm really happy right now. Yesterday evening I got 2 more rounds of feedback for the first 5 chapters for my betas, and guys, it's so weird. It's so weird finally getting reader feedback for this book that I've been working on for the last 10 years. And it's so easy to lose perspective, to be worried on how these things come across to others, how the characters read like to others. It's so nice when people get it, when people get these characters and understand what I'm going for. I love this process. I love this process so much more than I thought. I honestly was really afraid. No one else has read this version of the book, and so I didn't know what to expect. I'm in love with this process, and I want more feedback because it's great. And obviously it's not just like praise, it's actually, constructive criticism as well, but it's just so nice when I can tell that people get it, that people love these characters. I have a favorite beta already. This girl, oh my gosh, I was laughing aloud reading her comments, and like I was smiling like an idiot throughout reading her comments, and I was like this close to tearing up because she got these characters so well, These characters feel real to me because I've been working on them for so long. Just reading her comments was just So much fun. I love this. So I have 3 batches right now for the first 5 chapters. And again, I'm still waiting on a bunch of other people to respond. And I sent all of these 3 people the next batches of chapters. I was so happy last night after reading these comments that it made me just want to write more. And this is something that I don't know how to talk about it, but like, again, you're in your head so much as a writer, and a lot of the times not a lot of people get to see what you're working on. And again, that's my fault. I should have probably given this book out to more people sooner, and gotten this feedback a lot sooner, but I'm so confident in this version that I didn't want to give people something that I wasn't 100% confident in, if you know what I mean. So I really love this version, and I can already tell that it was the right decision to wait until I was confident enough in a version to actually send people to read, because now I feel like I'm getting the feedback that I want. I'm getting a lot of positive reactions, but I'm also getting constructive criticism on things that I can improve. But it's not like, oh god, this is awful, I couldn't get through it. People are actually enjoying reading it, and that's what I want. And oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But yeah, it made me really want to continue writing, you know, the next thing, and in a way kind of validates all of the work that I've put into this book and just into writing in general. And it makes me feel like this is a good thing, that me writing books is a good thing, and that I should continue doing this. That was just like my thought process last night, but it made me really happy. And I worked on my fantasy series last night. I wrote about 1,500 words. So the word count right now is this much. I cannot wait to get all the feedback from everyone on Hunting Vienna and then go through it and make a plan on things to improve. Because I already have some actual points, like I said, that I know I want to improve in the beginning. So I'm looking forward to hearing more awesome feedback from people. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun to read reactions to your work. It's, yes. So I've gathered even more feedback. I'm almost in the middle of the book with some of the beta readers, and I consistently get about 4 questionnaires back for each section. And I think that's a really good thing, because if I can keep 3 people for the entirety of the book, that is my goal. There's some people who haven't replied to my initial email, which I need to follow up on, unfortunately, because they just never got back to me. But anyway, I am accumulating a lot of feedback, and I keep the feedback in this file. And so I have like a folder for each section of the book. Yeah, so I have this folder with about 4 different feedback for the first 5 chapters, and then I have the second folder with about 4, again for chapters 6 to 13. And then I only have 1 feedback back for chapters 14 to 19, so I'm waiting on some more feedback for this part. And then this is the latest one that I have, so I haven't gotten to a later part in the book with my betas yet. It's beginning to feel a little bit overwhelming just having so much feedback, and it's really, really good, useful feedback. It's not the fault of the feedback, I just feel like I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed by just the sheer amount of comments and suggestions that I will have to go through at the end of this. You know, those 5 stages of grief? I feel like I'm going through that right now with my beta reads, just somehow in reverse. So I'm at the part where it's starting to feel a little bit overwhelming and scary. After it was very, very fun and exciting in the beginning, now it's getting a bit overwhelming. And I'm only in the middle of it, so we'll see how it turns out by the end. I'm just hoping these people can actually stick around through the entirety of the book, because it's much more useful to have the same people read through the entire book and give me feedback than, you know, give up halfway through, because I hope that doesn't happen, because they're giving me really, really good, useful feedback. So I really hope that they stick around through the entire thing. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And my cat has decided to join. She also seems to like the feedback that I'm getting. Maybe a bit too much. What's up? Other than collecting feedback, I'm also working on the cover, like I said, and I'm having a bit of trouble with the cover. I still can't decide if I like the previous cover I made or not. Because I'm kind of trying to do a similar thing, just with original art and a font that I can actually commercially use, because the font that I used previously I'm not sure I can actually use. It was a free font, so I have to look it up and find out if I can actually use it for a commercial project or not. That's obviously really important because copyright and all that. That's that, but I still can't decide if I like the general concept of it or not. I'm having a lot of trouble with this, so if it continues like this, then I'm just gonna bite the bullet and hire a professional cover designer, because I'm trying my best and I'm good with Photoshop and graphic design in general, but I just feel like I'm having a lot of issues right now because I can't decide. I think my problem is there's just so many possibilities. None of them are good enough, and I'm always like, okay, but what if I try something like this, or what if I try this, or what if I try this, and I can't seem to like narrow it down and decide on one thing. So if I cannot narrow it down in the next couple of weeks, I think I'm just gonna give up and hire a professional cover designer to handle this, because it might just be too much for me right now. So yeah. So yesterday I did work on the cover of Hunting Edina, and I think I am still going to go with my original concept. I tried out a bunch of different colors, and I narrowed down the fonts to 2 possible fonts that I can use. I'm still not sure which one, but I found out where I can buy them and have a commercial license that I can actually use, and it's not too expensive, thankfully. And I printed out a bunch of tests just for color. So again, the concept is very similar to what I had before, but I haven't yet replaced any of the drawings. I will do that because I cannot use these again. Copyright things, I have to replace them. But I just printed out a bunch of tests, different color combinations, to see what I like best on my home printer, of course, so it's not like the best quality ever, but at least it's good enough so I can see what looks good on print and what doesn't. I actually kind of like this white background combination, so I have one that is just white with orange, and I have another one where it's white with black text and then all of the different drawings. And I think I kind of like the way this looks, because all of the drawings are really colorful, and if the background itself is also really colorful, I feel like it distracts a bit too much. So I kind of like the simplistic aspect of these sorts of designs. So I don't know, I haven't yet decided which one I'm gonna use, but just did some tests and I worked on that, which is great. Another great thing is I passed 50,000 words on my fantasy draft. That's really, really cool. I should have done that obviously during NaNoWriMo of 2020. I didn't, but I passed it now. And I'm just before the final act of the story, so I only have the final act left to write, which I assume it's gonna take maybe another 5,000 words or so, maybe more. This is just the first draft, so I'm really leaving out a lot of details and things. I'm just trying to get through the story so I can reach the end. But I'm really happy I finally passed 50,000 words, so that's really nice. And yeah, I got some more feedback from my beta readers, so everything is going really well right now. I'm really pleased. So I think I'm going to end this vlog here, and then hopefully in the next writing vlog I will have received all of the beta reading feedback and actually start going through it and change things depending on the feedback that I received. So yes, thank you so much for watching my writing vlog. I think I did quite a lot during this process. I achieved quite a bit, so I'm really, really pleased about that. So yes, I will see you in my next writing vlog. Hopefully I will achieve even more by then. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Bye! I should frame these and put them above my desk, and then eventually I'll find the combination that I like the most. Because just looking at them now, I like all of them. Can I have just like 10 different versions of my cover? That probably wouldn't work, would it? No.